Welcome to Roundabout Oxford, a podcast from the University of Mississippi Libraries.
This is Michael Carelse for Roundabout Oxford, a podcast in which members of the University of Mississippi Libraries speak to other members of the Ole Miss community here in Oxford, Mississippi, to highlight some of the amazing work that's being done around campus. In this episode, I talk to Dr. David Holben, a professor of nutrition and the director of Learn Science, a collaborative research project that aims to improve the science knowledge of children across the state of Mississippi through public library programming.
My name is David Holben, and I am professor of nutrition and Gillespie Distinguished Scholar here at the University of Mississippi, and I direct the Office of Food Nutrition Security.
So you are the program director and principal investigator for Learn Science, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. Can you give a brief overview of that program?
Learn Science, you might be wondering about the acronym. Learn Science stands for Library Efforts to Advance Nutrition Science. And it's an informal life science and reading program through a nutrition science lens. So our goal is to improve the science knowledge and the science identity of children across Mississippi from kindergarten through grade 2. So essentially, it's an opportunity to improve the science achievement and the health of children simultaneously. As part of Learn Science, we will develop science kits that will be housed at the Mississippi Library Commission in Jackson, Mississippi, and then these kits can be accessed by all of the public libraries across Mississippi and be delivered in their communities. Learn Science is a partnership between the Office of Food Nutrition Security, the Center for Excellence in Literacy Instruction, directed by Dr. Angela Rutherford in the School of Education, and then the Center for Research Evaluation, which is directed by Dr. Sarah Mason. So the three of us work collaboratively on this project. So while we've made a lot of progress in science achievement of children in Mississippi, we still lag behind other states in the U.S. with science achievement. And so one way to improve science achievement of children is to utilize informal learning environments in tandem with a formal learning environment like a school. So we have chosen to use public libraries because they are community hubs and they're places that children often go to after school or on weekends. And so that's one reason why we chose this approach, because it's a great place where students can access mentors and access information that they otherwise would not have access to.
Can you walk through what would be a typical experience of one of these programs?
Sure. Okay. With Learn Science, we will develop 7 STEM kits. And so what will be included in the STEM kit? Well, the STEM kit will have a storybook and then an informational book. And so think Jack and the Beanstalk. Is the science correct in Jack and the Beanstalk? And so we know that beans sprout, but do they sprout overnight and would they grow into the sky? So there would be a storybook and an informational book. And so an informational book that could go with Jack and the Beanstalk might be In the Garden with Dr. Carver. So George Washington Carver is a famous Black scientist that was from the South, and he studied peanuts and other things. And so we could have the student not only learn about how a bean sprouts from Dr. Carver, but also what his life was like as a scientist. And so there will be activities. So with something like this, the life science activity might be that the students learn how a bean sprouts and look at its life cycle. And does a bean need food and water to sprout? And how does a bean look different than its parent plant, and how might the baby plant look different than the parent plant? So our objective relates to life sciences, but then on the back end, we can access nutrition concepts and then showcase the nutritional benefits of, let's say, the peanut. So there will be an activity that the library can do. They might be 1 or 2 hours. And then there would be information the kids could take home with them so that the family could access it. We will give them information about their community with related programming to that concept. And we will also have Heroes of Science cards. So in this case, it would be Dr. Carver. So we will showcase a wide range of basic scientists and medical scientists that relate to the concepts. And then they would get some nutrition information related to the concept we were teaching, in this case, beans. So the Learn Science Project is in its first year of a 5-year funded project from the National Institutes of Health. And we are currently in the assessment phase of what the needs are of the community. And so we're doing asset mapping or a strength-based assessment of Mississippi communities so we can have a better idea of what the community wants to do with regard to science learning and science achievement of kids. And then we will utilize that information to develop the STEM kits. And so in the next 2 years, we will have all 7 kits developed, and then we will pilot test those, and then we will reformulate the kits. And by year 4, we will have 7 kits that have been piloted twice, and then we will train librarians how to deliver this to participants at their library.
I also spoke with Dr. Holben about his approach to community-engaged research and working with communities outside of the university. How do you approach community partnership, and what kinds of relationships do you hope to cultivate with the communities you work with?
Well, we strive to partner with communities and community members, and we want to move in alongside them to meet their goals rather than the university coming to a community and say, you need to do this, that, or the other thing. We want them to achieve their goals.
So you've worked in many different communities, many different types of communities in Mississippi, but also different contexts in Appalachia. Beyond Mississippi, you've worked in Canada. Have there been any striking differences across these geographic contexts or any notable similarities?
So although not exclusively, I have primarily worked in rural communities for much of my career. And so there are similarities in rural communities. Often they are food deserts, and so people have to travel a far distance to buy food, and sometimes even a further distance to buy healthy food. And we always strive to understand the context of where we're working. So what's the setting? What's the culture? What's the customs of the area? And I always encourage students and anybody that I do partnerships with to better understand the community. And so, as they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Community members all care about their community and want it to be a better place. That's a commonality I think that we all have.
If you'd like to know more about the Learn Science program, you can visit the link in the description. This has been Roundabout Oxford. Thank you to Dr. David Holben for speaking with me, and thank you for listening.
Roundabout Oxford is created by Brian Corrigan, Michael Carelse, Carmen Sanchez Garcia, Joe Moody, and Alex Watson, with musical contributions from Brian Corrigan and Gail Herrera.